Aquarius, of all the signs of the zodiac, you guys are likely going to be impacted the most. Pluto is moving into your sign for good in 2024, and this is all about personal transformation from the inside out. Expect 2024 and beyond to be a time of permanent and lasting change for you. So if you want to know more about what 2024 has in store for you, stick around. You definitely don't want to miss this. Hello, my loves. As always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you are new around here, welcome. My name is Mel. I'm a professional astrologer and I'm the founder of divinefeminineworks, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So welcome to my 2024 Astro Forecast series. So I wanted to preface this video by letting you know that all of these videos, all 12 of these videos, are done by rising sign, because that's what's going to give you the most accurate astrological information. Now, if you have no idea what your rising sign is, first thing you're going to want to do is check out this video right here that explains everything about your big three, including your rising sign. And then the second thing you'll want to do is go to a site like astro.com or astro-seek.com. All you'll need to do is put in your birth time, location, and date. And when it comes to the time, you're going to want to be as precise as you possibly can, because that will give you the most accurate information. You're going to put in those three things. You will get a natal chart generated for you, and your rising sign will be labeled as the ascendant, either the AS or ASC. That way, you'll be able to check out the video that is just right for you. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. If you watched my 2024 general yearly astro forecast, and if you didn't, no worries, the link is in the description box below. I talk about 4 topics that are going to transpire for all of us this year. And those topics or themes are expansion, evolution, relation, and conservation. So first, let's talk expansion. And this has everything to do with Jupiter. So for you, Aquarius, Jupiter is really trying to expand you and get you to experience growth at home and with family, and in your romantic life, and in your relationship with your children. So this expansion for you in 2024 is going to be deeply personal. Not necessarily personal to you yourself, but to those closest to you, okay? So first, Jupiter is going to be in Taurus, okay? So Jupiter first moved into Taurus in 2023, and it will remain in Taurus until May of 2024. And this is going to be your 4th house of home and family. So if you've been looking to enlarge your family, right? Maybe even something's telling me about like taking a leadership role in your family, or maybe even restructuring your family, right? Jupiter is all about expansion, but it's also about abundance and good luck. So your abundance really lies at home or with your family at this time. For some of you, if you work at home, I feel like while Jupiter's in Taurus, this is going to bless you with more money or more opportunities to perhaps make money or experience more abundance in that area, right? You may also find that you have important, or you receive important information or important values that come from your family or even your lineage that will prove to be beneficial and fortunate for you at this time. You know, they say home is where the heart is, but while Jupiter is in Taurus, I feel like home is where the abundance is for you. And while Jupiter is still in Taurus, it is going to conjunct Uranus, which is going to be sort of a big deal. This is going to be like a happy surprise or something suddenly happening that is beneficial to you. And this is going to be happening on the home front or as it pertains to your close family members. So look out for that. That conjunction is going down on or about April 20th. And then when Jupiter moves into Gemini on May 25th of 2024, this is going to be your 5th house of romance, dating, and children. So this may be a time for you to get out there, especially if you're someone who hasn't dated for a while and you aren't coupled up. This may also be a time where your children are your source of abundance, whether you are conceiving them or whether you already have them, right? But by and large, the 5th house is about self-expression. And with Jupiter in Gemini, you are going to be urged to really express your authenticity. It's almost like a time where you'll be urged to spread your wings and fly and let the world see who you truly are, right? I feel like it's going to be a beautiful time where you not only get more in touch with who you are, but you're going to see that reflected back to you in your romantic partnerships and in your relationship with your children. So Jupiter is all about growth and expansion. And for you, that's going down in a very personal area of life with home, family, romantic partners, and children. But I feel like by the time 2024 is over, I feel like you guys are going to have a richer sense of self. And being yourself, expressing your authentic self is really where the abundance lies this year. Next, let's talk evolution. And this has everything to do with Pluto. And like I said before, of all the zodiac signs, you guys are probably going to feel this the most profoundly because Pluto is getting ready to move into your sign in January. Now, we got a taste of Pluto in Aquarius back in March of 2023, lasting until June of 2023. And for you, this evolution is deeply personal. I want to say that over the next 20 years, which is how long Pluto will be in Aquarius, you are going to be changing completely. Your sense of self, what motivates you, how you think are all going to begin to change. And you're going to start to see that materialize in 2024. This has changed from the inside out. And it's change that's very profound, but most importantly, change that is permanent. That's why it's known as evolution, because once you start to evolve, you are not the same person that you were before. And this is the assistance that Pluto is giving you now. So embrace it, okay? And it all sounds great, the idealism of it, but it's tough work. Pluto is the phoenix rising from the ashes. Pluto requires us to take a look at and to dive deep into the parts of ourselves, specifically as it pertains to you, Aquarius. Dive deep into the parts of ourselves that are ugly, where we have our wounds, where we have our traumas. So it's not to say that this is just going to be some lovely sort of transformation. It may hurt at times. It may require you to examine parts of yourself that you would rather not. But in doing so, you will be like the phoenix that rises from the ashes. Now, this isn't new work. This work actually started while Pluto was in Capricorn, because Capricorn is your 12th house. And the 12th house is the house of undoing. So a lot of the bad habits, a lot of the subconscious programming that you've been running on that hasn't been serving you, Pluto has been decimating that over the last 10 years or so. And now it's time to do it on a more surface level. You've been doing it subconsciously for some time, and now it's time to do it on a more surface level. And that's exactly what Pluto in Aquarius will do for you. Like I said, this is a very important time for you because when we talk about evolution, all the other signs are experiencing this evolution in different areas of their lives, whether it's the 7th house of relationships, the 10th house of career, the 4th house of home and family. But for you, this is deeply personal because it's all about you. It's all going down in your house of self. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's about to be a bumpy ass ride, but a ride that you not only will never forget, but will transform your life for the better forever. Next, let's talk about what I like to call relation. And this has everything to do with the North and the South node. So throughout 2024, the North node will be in Aries and the South node will be in Libra. Now this Aries-Libra axis has everything to do with relationships. Aries is me, Libra is we. So wherever Aries and Libra fall in anyone's chart, there's going to be this undercurrent of relationships. And so for you, Aries and Libra represent your 3rd and 9th house respectively. So Aries is your 3rd house, Libra is your 9th house, all right? Now, the 3rd house and the 9th house have everything to do with learning, okay? And so when it comes to the North node in Aries and South node in Libra, it's like, who are you learning from? That's going to be the question of 2024. So with the North node in Aries, 3rd house covers your immediate environment. So this could be your teachers, especially if you are in school. This could be your siblings, the people in your immediate vicinity. These are the people that you are learning from. And with the North node being our North Star and our guiding light, there may be some emphasis on the people closest to you and what you are learning from them. What kind of conversations do you have from them? What kind of ideas do you have about them, and do you exchange with them? Okay. And those conversations, that learning, all of that is of your highest good and that is in alignment with your North Star, you're going to start to see a lot more of these in 2024. Aries is also a sign that's concerned with the self. So the things that you want to learn, the conversations that you want to have, thoughts centered around your own personal desires, you're going to find relationships that align with those desires are going to show up more in your life over this next year. Conversely, with your 9th house being Libra, the 9th house is wisdom gained through experience. These are like your gurus, your spiritual advisors, right? And with the South Node going through Libra, those relationships are being cleansed. Relationships that may be unfair, unbalanced, relationships that don't necessarily add value to your life are going to be changed or maybe eliminated altogether. So the people that guide you, this could be in like a mentor-mentee kind of way, a spiritual advisor, a pastor, a guru, anyone like that. If those relationships are not serving you at your highest level, again, they're either going to be changed or they're going to be eviscerated, okay? So when it comes to relations in 2024, it's all about how you learn and who you learn from. Those who are in alignment with where you need to go, you're going to see more of them start to come into your sphere. And those who aren't, those relationships that aren't equitable, that aren't teaching you anything valuable, you're going to see those spin out of your sphere this year. All right. Again, it's learning. What are you learning and who are you learning from? Next, we have conservation. And this has everything to do with Mars, specifically Mars going retrograde. So Mars doesn't go retrograde every year. It goes retrograde every 2 years. And when it does go retrograde, it's a time of physical rest. The energy of Mars is all about physical exertion, physical force, stamina, and endurance. So when it's retrograde, we dial those things back. We chill out, we relax, we rest, and we recalibrate. Recalibrate in the Martian sense is really reflecting on the energy that we've put out there to see what has come back to us. But by and large, when Mars is retrograde, we conserve our energy. So Mars is not going to go retrograde until the very end of 2024. It's going to begin its retrograde cycle in the sign of Leo in December 2024, and then it's going to retrograde back into Cancer in January 2025. So for you, Aquarius, when Mars begins its retrograde cycle, it's beginning it in the sign of Leo, which is your 7th house of committed partnerships. So at that time, that's not going to be the time to get engaged, get partnered up, solidify a relationship, get married. Like, you're really going to want to rest, all right? And you're going to want to chill out when it comes to doing those things, right? And really look at those commitments and partnerships and see if the energy you put into them is necessarily the energy that you're getting out of them, right? Although Libra is more the sign of reciprocity and fairness, the opposite of Libra is Aries. And Aries, although Aries may not be fair in a sense, Aries is very much concerned with what I want. So when Mars goes retrograde in your 7th house, you're kind of looking to see, well, I put all this energy and effort into this partnership, or maybe even getting into a partnership, right? If you're single, if you're not coupled. Whatever I'm getting back from this partnership, is it what I truly want? That's going to be the purpose of Mars retrograde in Leo. And then when Mars retrogrades back into Cancer, this is going to be your 6th house of work and health. And that same sort of analysis, you're going to do that with respect to your job. So all of the energy I've put in my job, am I getting back from it what I want? Clearly, we all work for money, but there should be some sort of desire when it comes to work, right? Like, I want this job because I like it, or I like some aspect of it, right? Whatever you're putting into your job, are you getting that back? When Mars goes retrograde into Cancer, which again won't be until January 2025, these are the questions that you're going to want to ask yourself. So by and large, when it comes to relation, and again, because, conservation, not relation. We talked about relation already. When it comes to conservation, you're going to see and examine the energy and effort you put into your commitments, your partnerships, and your work, and if those still make sense for you, if those align with what you truly want. Conserve your energy. You're not going to want to do too much in these areas of life because come January 2025, it's going to be go time. And then you can figure out what is the best use of your energy in these areas at that time. Next up, let's talk a topic that everyone always wants to talk about, which is money. So in order to ascertain your financial situation for 2024, we're going to look at two different houses. The second house of your personal finances and your eighth house of your shared finances and debt. All right. So first up, let's talk your personal finances as evidenced by your second house. So for you, your second house is Pisces. So there's two ways that we could look at this. Number one, Sagittarius. Saturn is going to be in, sorry, you guys are the 12th video that I'm doing. So I'm like, yeah, it's been a lot. So Pisces is your second house. Saturn will be in Pisces all throughout 2024. And this is important because Pisces is the dream. Saturn is the work to facilitate that dream. So if you have any financial goals that you want to achieve, whether it is making more money, getting a new job, starting a business, more income streams, if you're able to dream it, visualize it, and hold that dream, and then if you're willing to put in the work to facilitate that dream, it will be yours, point blank, period, right? That's one. Number two, we also look to the ruler of Pisces, and the ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. Jupiter will be in Taurus and Gemini this year, right? And so for you, this is all going down in your fourth and fifth house. Now, remember when I said, when I was talking about Jupiter in your fourth house, I talked about working from home. This directly impacts your personal finances. So you may find that in 2024, you will want to work at home if you can. This may also signify starting a home business or maybe even starting a business with family or getting into the family business because Jupiter is going to be in your fourth house from January to May. That's the time you're going to want to do these activities because that is literally where the abundance lies. All right. So that being said, if you want to augment your bottom line, this may be a time to bring things home, or this may be doing real estate, interior design, any sort of business having to do with home may flourish for you while Jupiter is in Taurus. At least starting it at that time will be very beneficial for you. And then when Jupiter moves into Gemini being conversations, ideas, communication, a lover, a romantic partner may give you advice that could be helpful to your bottom line. Romance doesn't have to be all love. Sometimes it could be advice, it could be money, it could be a lot of different things, right? So you may want to pay attention to your lovers and who you're dating. Perhaps who you're dating could help augment your personal finances as well, especially when Jupiter goes into Gemini. So keep that in mind when it comes to your personal finances. Then we move to your eighth house, which is shared finances and debt, all right? And so for you, that is Virgo. Now, nothing spectacular is going down with Virgo this year as a sign, right? So we look to the ruler of Virgo to sort of ascertain your shared finances and debt situation this year. So Virgo is ruled by Mercury, right? And Mercury doesn't do anything out of the ordinary. It goes direct, it goes retrograde, point blank, period. So you're going to want to pay special attention to the retrograde periods of Mercury. This is going to be it's going to directly impact your shared finances and your debt, all right? So pay attention to what transpires at that time. That's not going to be a time to start anything new. So you wouldn't want to take on any new debt. You wouldn't want to take on any new loans or anything like that while Mercury is retrograde. You're going to use the retrograde periods to really dial back on those things and really assess them and your overall general financial situation. So while your eighth house isn't necessarily on and popping in 2024, again, you're going to want to look at the Mercury retrograde periods to see how they would affect your shared finances. However, I feel like your personal finances can really benefit this year if you'll hold the vision, do the work, and heed the advice I just gave you. I think that your bottom line is going to look really good in 2024. Next, let's talk another popular topic, which is love. So in order to ascertain your love life for this year, we're also going to look at two houses. The fifth house of romance and dating and the seventh house of commitments and partnership. So the fifth house has everything to do with your dating life. So if you are uncoupled or if you're just dating random people, right? It also talks about your romantic life. So even if you are coupled, the romance of your relationship would be described by your fifth house. And for you, your fifth house is Gemini, like I mentioned before. So when it comes to romance and all that good stuff, you're going to have an abundance of this when Jupiter moves into Gemini, all right? So this may spark more conversations, right? Because Gemini is all about ideas, conversations, communication. You may have more options for dating, more romantic talk, right? More loving words, especially if you're already coupled. I feel like Jupiter and Gemini will bring more romance, more expressed romance into your relationships. And if you aren't coupled, I feel like it's just going to give you more dating options, right? But be mindful, Gemini energy can be very mixy, very multitasky. So if you're dating, you may find a lot of dating options, but not all of those dating options are going to be viable. And you definitely don't want to spread yourself too thin. You kind of want to keep it a little focused, but enjoy yourself. Enjoy the fun, if you can call it fun, of dating, all right, and romance, because there's going to be a plethora of that once Jupiter goes into your fifth house. Then we have your seventh house of committed partnerships and marriage. And this is Leo, okay? So Leo, there isn't necessarily anything going on with Leo, except for the fact that Mars is going to go retrograde in Leo in December of 2024. So at that time, you're going to want to slow down on making commitments, maybe not start anything new, and maybe a time where you just enjoy your partner rather than starting something new with them or really shifting the energy dynamic in your relationship. However, with Leo being ruled by the sun, you're going to want to pay special attention to the eclipses, because the eclipses this year are going to directly impact your partnerships and or your marriage or committed relationships. So pay special attention at those times to what transpires, because it may be moving your relationship in a certain direction or changing the dynamic, all right? But either way, when it comes to love in 2024, Aquarius, I feel like you guys are going to have plenty of romance, plenty of opportunity. And I feel like you guys are going to have a good, solid relationship to enjoy. And perhaps you guys may share the spotlight. Maybe your partner makes you feel like the king or the queen that you are. But by and large, I feel like romance and love are looking pretty good for you in 2024. And last but certainly not least, let's talk about career and work. So in order to ascertain your work life for 2024, we also look at two houses. We look at the 6th house of work and the 10th house of career. So work, as defined by astrology, is like your 9 to 5, your daily activity, your regular job. Whereas your 10th house of career is just that, your career, your overarching life purpose and or your vocation. So for you, Aquarius, your 6th house is, sorry, I have to look at it, Cancer. So although there isn't anything necessarily spectacular going on with Cancer, apart from the fact that Mars will be going retrograde in Cancer in 2025, but we're doing 2024 right now, so that's kind of irrelevant, or jumping the gun, I should say. So we look to the ruler of Cancer, and the ruler of Cancer is the moon. So there's two things that you're going to want to consider this year. Number one, you're going to want to consider following the lunar cycle as it pertains to your job. Meaning when you make job decisions, you're going to want to use your intuition, number one. And number two, you're going to want to know when the new moon is, because that's when you're going to want to start new things with your job. When the full moon occurs, that's likely when you will either receive recognition, a reward, or something with your job will be completed at that time. When the moon is waxing, that's when you'll want to implement new things at work. When the moon is waning, that's when you're going to want to declutter. That's when you're going to want to stop doing certain things that aren't serving you at work, right? So you're going to want to follow the lunar cycle. Number two, you're going to want to pay attention to the eclipses this year, because whenever eclipse goes down, it's going to directly impact your work and your job. So whatever transpires around the eclipses is going to give you valuable information or show you certain things that you really need to see concerning your work and your job. All right. Next up, let's talk your career. And your career house is Scorpio. Let me make sure that's right. Yes, Scorpio. So there isn't necessarily anything going down in the sign of Scorpio this year. So we look to the rulers of Scorpio for that information. And Scorpio is unique because it has two rulers. It has a traditional ruler, which is Mars, and a modern ruler, which is Pluto. And it just so happens that both of these planets are making major moves this year or are doing major things. So first up, Mars. We talked about Mars when we talked about conservation because Mars is going retrograde. So when Mars goes retrograde at the end of the year, as it pertains to your career, you especially will not want to start anything new at that time. You're really just going to want to reflect on the energy that you put out and see what comes back to you. All right. Secondly, with Pluto, Pluto is going to enter Aquarius, your sign, right? This is all about personal transformation. And so as this pertains to your career, it's almost like if you are transforming, is your career transforming also? Is what you want to do, is your life calling, is your vocation transforming with you as well? This is going to be an important question that Pluto is going to be posing to you beginning in 2024. Now, I don't believe you're going to be able to answer that question in 2024. I think that you're going to start to think about it. But as the years go by and you start to change and transform from the inside out, maybe your career will also. The more work you do on yourself, the more your career may change as well. And you're going to start to see that this year. So on the career and work front, work is looking kind of the same, but again, you're going to want to follow the lunar cycles and pay attention to whatever happens at the eclipses. But the real evolution is going to be going down in your career sector because again, as you evolve, so will your career. All right, Aquarius. So this concludes your edition of the 2024 yearly astro forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this new year. And if you want to know what 2024 really has in store for you specifically, then you will definitely want to book my 2024 annual reading. I take a look at your natal chart. I take a look at all of the important transits for 2024, and I let you know what they are going to be like for you so that you can prepare. I put all of this in a beautifully written report that you will receive. Plus, we do a 60-minute online consultation where you can ask all the questions you want. Plus, I pull cards from Spirit. It is a whole vibe, honey, and it will definitely get you right for this coming year. Now, you want to sign up ASAP because not only are spots limited, but I'm only offering this service until mid-January. So sign up now. Link is in the description box below as well as tagged to this video, all right? Thank you so much for tuning in, Aquarius. I wish you nothing but the absolute best that 24 has to offer. And I wish you good health, wealth, abundance, joy, love, and blessings in 2024 and beyond. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have an amazing new year, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.